We're still waiting for that final blast off for the CRO token, just like what we've seen here in 2021. But back then, what were the catalysts, and can we expect something similar now in 2025? Well guys, I would say let's strap in and let's find out. This video is sponsored by WolfSwap, the most used place to trade tokens directly on the Cronos chain. Cronos is a token that often makes moves based on the latest news. For example, very recently we got the announcement of the Treasury company, so a big move to the upside. But before that, we also had the announcement of the Crypto.com roadmap and also of the Crypto.com or CRO ETF here. So every time we get news, we get a big move. And we had the same thing also here in 2021. For example, this move here to the upside of about 200%, that was based on the burn announcement for CRO. But we also had a lot of announcements here that made the move to $1 possible. But what were these moves back in 2021? And can we also expect something similar now in 2025? So that's what we're going to explore in this video. So don't forget to hit that like button and of course strap in till the end. If we zoom in on the 2021 bull run, you can see it basically started here in the week of the 25th of October. And it also makes sense because that was the launch week of this now very famous campaign with Matt Damon, Fortune Favors the Brave. And this commercial, guys, also has been used in a now also famous South Park episode. But of course, the thing here is that Matt Damon was now endorsing basically Crypto.com and also a little bit CRO. So this really helped with the retail adoption of Crypto.com, but also the CRO token. But this was only the start of a bigger campaign. Fortune Favors the Brave was used in multiple occasions. And if you continue with the news, you can also see that we get this not many days after. CRO rallies to a new all-time high following the Coinbase listing. Coinbase is still one of the biggest exchanges worldwide, and they hadn't listed CRO before, but after this rally, they had to get on board of the hype train as well. And you can see that in the week of the listing on Coinbase here, we set new all-time high after new all-time high after new all-time high, from about 21 cents all the way to 34 cents for CRO. So a massive move to the upside. And it also makes sense because back then, especially in 2021, a lot of retail was trading on Coinbase, so new audience got to know about the CRO token. Of course, many people want to join in on the hype. And what is also very interesting here is that this happened basically while Bitcoin was also making massive moves. So you can see that the all-time high was set on the 10th of November. But this move here, this move started basically on the 8th, and we went from about 60K all the way to 69K, about 10% for Bitcoin, which was the eventual all-time high in 2021. So this, guys, was all happening right while Coinbase was listing the CRO token. It's also good to notice that many other altcoins were also pumping during this time, guys. So it's not only been CRO, but you can see the momentum was building. And also the good news show wasn't stopping because the next thing was also coming up already. 3 days after the Coinbase listing, the official Cronos chain went live. And still to this day, this is the main chain for CRO. And what you can see is that basically back then, there was a lot of hype also for this chain because people have seen the success of BSC, the Binance Smart Chain. And now also there was this Cronos chain. So the potential was huge and many builders came to Cronos now for the first time. Since the launch date for the Cronos chain was already announced, many people expected a sell the news event. But the opposite occurred. You can see that we started crawling back to a new all-time high. That was also the setup for this final big green candle here as well. And what caused this next big green candle? And well, many people point towards this deal here. Crypto.com buys naming rights to Lakers Staples Center in a $700 million deal. Big deal, guys. Now, if the Los Angeles Lakers are playing a game, you can see them over here. They're playing in the Crypto.com arena. And of course, again, a big deal regarding retail adoption. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the recipe for the perfect storm. Excitement because of new all-time highs, a global campaign with Fortune Favors the Brave, access to the Coinbase user base, and also of course, the Staples Center. So hype all across the board that brought us to the eventual $1. Was it all fundamentally right or was it wrong? I think it's hard to say. I think still Crypto.com and CRO do have the fundamentals to go back to $1 this cycle because, again, the exchange is still there. The token is still there. The Cronos chain is still used today. So I do believe that fundamentally we are worth more than where we are today. But the question, of course, is will we get a similar perfect storm again this time around? And on that front, we do have some great news because we have some confirmed catalysts to come later in 2025. But more about that after the quick word of today's sponsor. WolfSwap is one of the best places to make trades on the Cronos chain. For example, if you go from CRO to US dollar or from CRO to Line, it will try to take all the cheapest prices from the whole Cronos chain to give you the best deal possible. And also, if you make a trade, you can enter their contest, for example, now with Season 15. And there you can see there are quite some big prizes available if you join their leaderboard. Join WolfSwap now and also Season 15 with the link in the description down below. Anyways, let's talk some more about potential catalysts for CRO in 2025. And what we've seen so far for CRO is one big move here based on the news of the treasury company for CRO. And this, guys, was one big surprise. On the roadmap of Crypto.com or Cronos Labs, we don't see any mention of a treasury company, even though we did have some hints in the AMA with Chris Marsalek. But what we do see here in this roadmap is, for example, the Cronos stablecoin and also the Cronos ETF. I made a whole video talking about 3 catalysts for CRO that are part really of the roadmap, so check out this video in the top right. But I want to make a few comparisons really to the previous cycle and where we are now, because it really started again with the Fortune Favors the Brave commercial. And that, of course, was based on Matt Damon. Now we also have a campaign. It's really based around Make Cronos Great Again. So the campaign is slowly starting. We don't have Matt Damon, but this time around, we have Donald J. Trump. The Trump name is again attached to CRO. So I do believe that CRO will get a lot more credibility based here on that big partnership. Next up, in 2021, we had the Coinbase listing for CRO. And so far, we have seen a few exchanges also recently list CRO after the campaign of Make Cronos Great Again. We have, for example, Femex, but not really game-changing exchanges. And people are now waiting for potentially a listing of CRO on Binance. But personally, I don't see that happening, guys, because Crypto.com and Binance are two big competitors. However, one exchange that people are talking about and where we do see some rumors is Robinhood. And I would say Robinhood, Coinbase are pretty much comparable. Robinhood is more known for their stock trading, but also crypto has become quite big. And what you can see here is that Cronos is already being indexed on their website. You can see it's listing the price here. And if you press this page, you can see it won't work. 404 page not found. However, it does seem like the groundwork has already been done for a CRO listing. So I think it's only the question if, but the question is when do we see a Robinhood listing for CRO? Anyways, after the new listings for CRO, we also had the Cronos chain launch. And I don't expect a new blockchain to launch for CRO in 2025. However, we did recently do a big upgrade to the Cronos chain itself. 10x the speed and also 10x lower block time. So if you get some more renewed interest or more activity on the Cronos chain, that could also help drive some more adoption of the CRO token. And then finally, we had the big move here after the Crypto.com arena. And the Crypto.com arena, I think, will be the only Crypto.com arena because I don't think it makes sense to get like a second Crypto.com arena, and also the effect wouldn't be the same. However, if we're talking marketing, we do know that Crypto.com and marketing are doing great work. And we have seen a big partnership between, for example, FIFA and Crypto.com back in 2022. And do you know what a FIFA World Cup will be in 2026? In, of course, the United States of America, where Donald J. Trump will be a very proud host. And I do believe because we already have the connections between Crypto.com and the FIFA World Cup organization, I do believe that potentially we can get an announcement as well of the new renewed partnership between Crypto.com and the FIFA World Cup. But of course, guys, this is pure speculation. I do know that Crypto.com and also the FIFA do like to work together. And I think a potential announcement of the FIFA World Cup being sponsored by Crypto.com and CRO, of course, could be that final catalyst that brings CRO to new levels. Because basically the FIFA World Cup is as big, I would say, or even bigger than the Crypto.com arena here with the NBA Lakers. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, it is really about creating hype and momentum for the token to start that upwards move. And so far, we started with a movement. However, it also tumbled down. I think a bit too much hype during a time where Bitcoin was at a relatively low moment. However, soon there will also be the first rate cut in 2025, with maybe some more renewed interest into crypto and also stocks in general. And I do believe after that, we can see more announcements, more news also by Crypto.com, and maybe some more surprises, because Crypto.com does like to work in silence. Having said that, guys, what are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, also don't forget to hit that like button and strap in, of course, for some more videos. If you want to learn more, by the way, about why CRO at this exact moment is going down, check out this video here to the right of me.